This is Sandra at Spirit of Avalon. So today I'm going to be doing a VR to Simon over at the Hermit's Cave. He started a hashtag in one of his Cup of Ketchup and cards on a Saturday, which is My Power 5. So I'm going to be doing a VR to that today. So My Power 5, it can be decks or other items that are not favourites or not necessarily favourites, but that you find are powerful for you in readings or in whichever way you use whatever items you choose. So my first item is a deck. I've got 4 decks and one other item. So my first choice is the Pamela Coleman Smith RWS Tarot, and this one I've had for some time and was actually gifted to me by Simon, and this is the one that I always reach for. It might not be my favourite RWS. It used to be until I got my Blushing Fool and so that's my favourite RWS now. But if I need to do a quick reading, or well, any sort of reading, or if I need an answer straight away, or there was something really pressing that I wanted to know, it would be this deck that I would grab. Always. It's always this deck. I've done readings with it for my brother as well, and it's always really spot on and tells you what you need to know, even if that is not something you particularly want to hear, but it still says it like it is. And this is always the one that I grab, even though I do use my Blushing Fool as well. This will be the one that I would just grab for. That would be a Power 5 for sure. So that is the first deck, and that is the Pamela Coleman Smith RWS deck. The next deck I keep in this bag, and this one I've had for some time, and when I first got it, when I first took it out of the box, it felt like it was vibrating, and I very rarely get that with decks or other items. Occasionally, but it's rare, and this one was like that immediately. And this is the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. Now I have edged it, that it's probably not looking great anymore because it's probably worn off a bit now, because I've had this deck for some time, and this is actually one of my favourite cards, Shadow Dance, which is the devil, but I love that it's called Shadow Dance. But I also love the depiction, like the Green Man or the Horned God. Also love this card, the Lovers, and you don't always see it immediately, but this is the face here of like the Green Man kissing the lady here. And this again always gives me really good readings, and it just speaks to me. It's very sort of pagan feeling. It's very nature, animals, the woods, all of those type of things, all the things that I love. And of course this is the Fae in this deck, which Fae or fairy decks often appeal to me, but they have to kind of be the right decks though. Not all fairy decks I would go for. This like speaks of the Morrigan to me. But this one, this is a kind of kick your butt deck for me. This will tell you it how it is, and can be quite harsh. Not always, but can be. And sometimes that's good, because sometimes we need to hear that. We need to have that kick up the butt. I love this card too, Nine of Pentacles. But sometimes it's more gentle. It depends. but I do love it, and this is an old deck because it is still available and it's Llewellyn, but this is on the old Llewellyn cardstock, because this one came in one of those horrible Llewellyn boxes that they used to have years ago, the really flimsy ones. So I just, whenever I got those boxes, I used to throw them out into the recycling. So this doesn't have a box anymore, but I do still have the book, and as I said, I keep it in a bag. And this is another one that, again, I probably wouldn't, if I was picking out decks for a favourites video, this, might not, or probably wouldn't be in it, even though I do really like it. But I like it for its powerful, no nonsense readings, and always like spot on, and just does literally speak to me, this deck does. So yeah, I love it. I'd never like part with it. So that's the second deck. Third deck is an out of print deck, guys, so I'm going to apologise straight away for that, but it is the Glastonbury Tarot. This is the book that goes with it. The box is quite battered now, but I do still have it. And again, this, I wouldn't say this is a favourite, because I'm not over keen on the artwork, and I just, I think, they could have done a bit better with it being the Glastonbury Tarot, maybe, but that's just my opinion. But it does have a lot of the elements associated with Glastonbury, like Joseph of Arimathea, who was supposedly the uncle of Christ, and came to Glastonbury and planted his staff in the ground that grew into the holy thorn tree on Weriel Hill. And like 8 of vesicas, so the vesicas is the symbol that you'll see on the Chalice wellhead if you go to Chalice Well Gardens. And this again, I think because it's Glastonbury, it's set in Glastonbury, you've got like a little tour in the background of a lot of the cards. And originally this was published and sold in a shop called Gothic Image in Glastonbury, which isn't there anymore. And I think because it comes from there, and I do really like this card, the Strength card, which is Gog and Magog, the really, really old oak trees. One of them is dead now, and the other one I think might be, or it is dying, because somebody left a candle near the trees and it caught light, which was a shame. But they are still there. I've never actually been to see them, but I would like to before they end up falling down or something. But this one, it's like it connects me with Glastonbury. See, we've got like the chariot, the barge of Avalon, like the barge that carried the body of Arthur, King Arthur. And again, it can make my arms and hands all tingly when I use this deck. See, look at the moon is Chalice Hill, and I just think it even now, just talking about it and showing it, I can feel tingles going all up the back of my neck. But again, it gives good messages, even though it might not be the best in perhaps artwork style or things that could have been depicted in the deck, but it still works really well for me. Because you've even got, let me see if I can find, like, we've got St Dunstan, and what's funny about that is, well, it's not funny really, but in the Georgian Pilgrims, twice I've stayed in the St Dunstan room, and obviously St Dunstan was a monk. But yes, I love Death in this deck, which is Gwyn ap Nudd. So it looks like Gwyn ap Nudd, as you can see, but it's actually pronounced Gwyn ap Nudd. and he's supposed to live in the Tor and come down with his hounds down the Tor, his hounds with the red eyes. And of course you've got Merlin for the magician, but as I say, it's not a favourite, as in I would pick it out and say, oh, this is a favourite deck in a favourites but video, but it does really speak to me and does give me really good readings. And I think, like I say, because of the Glastonbury connection, I think is why it does work so well for me. And there's the Glastonbury Thorn. So yeah, so that deck I really love, and it's not on the best cardstock either. It's quite thin cardstock, but you know, I wouldn't part with it. And the fourth deck, again, probably be no surprise to anybody, this one, because this one is the Mists of Avalon Oracle, which works very well with the Glastonbury Tarot. So it is one that I can pair with it if I want to. I don't always, sometimes I use it on its own, but this one speaks to me hugely. I mean, look at this, the Chalice Well. I love this. And this one pairs really well if you want to pair it with the Glastonbury Tarot, but also with the Arthurian Tarot. It's a good one. And this is where it's kind of a little bit of a cheat, I suppose, because although this video is Power 5, and this is, again, it's powerful for me because I think it connects me to Glastonbury, and I have read a lot of the legends of, you know, the characters like Blodeuwedd, who was turned into an owl because she betrayed her husband with another man, and she was and that man then killed her husband, and she was turned into an owl. She was the Lady of Flowers, they call her, and she was an owl at night time. So, you know, a lot of these I've read about or heard about, and so it's a really like important deck for me. And again, we have Arianrhod pictured. Again, a lot of decks do not have Arianrhod in them, and she's a goddess. She was the first goddess I ever worked with that came to me when my dad was ill in the hospital when he had a cardiac arrest. This was before he had cancer, but yeah, and I love this card, the Sacred Union card. So yeah, like I say, it's drunk. It gives me such good readings. Even if it's just a one card pull with this deck, it still gives me really great readings. So it's a power deck for me, for definite. I love it. And there's the White Spring. So yeah, so that is the Mists of Avalon Oracle deck. Now the final thing is not a deck. My final Power 5 is my wand. Now I might have to move these a little bit over so that we can see properly. So this is my blackthorn wand, which was handmade and coated. So this is actual blackthorn, and it's I've had other wands, but this is my one that I use the most and is out on my altar most of the time. Occasionally it's not, if I'm changing up my altar for different sabbats and stuff, and you know I haven't got the space or whatever, but if it's not there, then it's in the drawer just below. So and this I've used for all different spell workings and different things. I've even used it in place of anathema as well, but I do have anathema now. But I love this. It's like you see me now stroking it like it's an animal or something, but I love it. It's just, it's so good, and it works so well. It's actually advertised when I bought it. It was from an Etsy shop that is no longer there anymore, as a blasting rod. So you could use it, I suppose, against people if you wanted to do that. I never have. Or for protection, because blackthorn is a protective plant. Blackthorn have really wicked thorns, probably about this long. So say if you planted a hedge of blackthorn, you'd never get through it. And this blackthorn is good for protection, so it's good for that too, especially if you're doing protection spells or making protection incense blends or herbal blends. Using this to stir the things with is really good. But yeah, that is my fifth powerful object of my power 5. So yeah guys, so that is my power 5. I hope you enjoyed seeing this. Look, we've even got like a little crow on the end of that, and I love the beads and everything on this as well. I just love this thing so much. I don't know what I'd do without this, honestly. The thought of it, of not having it, oh no. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed seeing this, and yeah, if you fancy it, then yeah, please do this tag yourself. It's hashtag mypower5, which you will see in the title of this video, and like I say, it was started by Simon over at the Hermit's Cave. And yeah, if you fancy doing it, brilliant. I'd love to see what other people's power 5s would be. So yeah, so anyway, that's it for now guys, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.